We are going to start very soon our morning series that I usually do every morning here on the Ways of Israel on Facebook and also on TikTok under Moshe O. So I want to really go into this morning, kind of deal with issues of prayer, and that in fact doesn't contradict, changing as it were, what was accompanied by an oath. Our rabbis also say that prayer is good for a man, both before the decision and after. And we infer that this is the case in Hezekiah, who was told, "Set thy house in order, for thou shalt die and not live, and thou shalt surely read. And I have heard thy prayer, and behold, I will add unto thy days." And this was a change of decision, as the rabbis say. In the case, show thy servant wonders and strength, as it said, and I will turn aside now and see this great sight is clear. Therefore, the rabbis refer to this expression that thou hast begun to the beginning of Moses' prophetic call. Moses said in effect, "O Lord, thou needest not hesitate to show me kindness, even though I do not deserve it. Or do me a favor freely, or sin." He did not mention voluntary death because no man prefers death to life. But he made a mistake, for Saul's death was voluntarily, as we read, and therefore Saul took his sword and fell upon it. Moses too did not mention voluntary death. He did not prefer death to life. Therefore he mentioned these three things, or these three only. His plea was then as follows: "O Lord, if the death decreed upon me is a punishment for my sin, and is my iniquity so great it cannot be forgiven, as Cain said, is my iniquity so too great to bear?" Which the rabbis explained that as follows, that Cain said to God, "O Lord, thou bearest heaven and earth and cannot bear my sin," and that's an exclamation point. What they mean is this: Cain said to God, "If my sin is so great that it can be in accordance with their nature, the composition of their humors, their fundamental vigor, and they possess from time of their creation." And this is the reason why the Bible is referring to Sarah, uses the expression, "the years of the life of Sarah." Having just said this, and the life of Sarah was 107 and 20 years. That was 127 years. The Bible desires to indicate that the 127 years that green fir tree, so as long as to be strong, for there is no other God in the world besides thee, who can do what thou doest, namely, who can create living things and endow them with a new natural strength, and is therefore that thou should give us a new life and make me a new creature, and therefore would be none to say to thee nay. For there is no one in the world who can do what thou doest, and go into and possess the land. And he says in effect, "I took all of this trouble in order to enter the land, but was not given the privilege." You are given the privilege to enter the land, and therefore be strong in observing the commandments of God, that you may be worthy to enter. You might perhaps say, "If my prayer was not heard, is it possible that today or tomorrow in this place is in order to indicate the difference between the prayer of an individual and the prayer of a congregation. And thus the prayer of the congregation is very powerful. And this is why we ask people to go to the congregation, pray to Hashem, pray to the Lord, pray in the minions, 10 men. And Moses speaks of the sin of Baal Peor. And let me add this, because already I could hear the women saying, well, we can't pray in 10? Yes, the women can have form to enter into the land of Israel. It was not accepted because the matter had already been decided under oath. And here Rabbi Albo ends the idea of prayer in community, in a congregation, is listened to much quicker than an individual prayer. This is why it's important to learn to pray in community. Now you might say, well, yeah, I can't go to the congregation every morning because it's far away. The whole entire series of the book of Sefer Haikkaim. But as we get closer to the end, it gets even more exciting as to the content and information. So continue to be with us, and may God bless you in this morning and every morning. May you seek the Lord while he may be found. May you cry unto him and supplicate to him for your prayers. And as we continue to pray, I want to just share this very briefly because this morning I woke up in a state of a state of anarchy and civil war in this country. May God help us. May God give us strength. And may God bless every single one. I do not agree with what someone just said on TikTok. You need to have faith. Faith comes by knowing God, and you need to have that. Religion, the word religion means to reconnect or to tie up your belief